Travelling northeastward, Roberts with Kitchener began to formulate two bold military schemes. First, they would send General French and his cavalry charging north to the relief of wretched Cecil Rhodes and his diamonds in Kimberley, and then the big job. He would swing his enormous army eastward and away from the vital Western Railroad towards the Central Railway, and thus towards the capital of the Orange Free State, Bloemfontein. Lord Roberts was deeply aware of the enormous risk that he was planning. His vast army, his poor bloody foot-sloggers, would be launched into a hostile land populated only by fast-riding Boer commandos who had every reason to despise them and, if possible, kill them. And without a railway line until they reached the Central Railway, how could he even feed them? Lord Roberts hesitated and then said, "I'll do it. I think the men will do it for me." And off they went. The greatest Boer military leader to metamorphosize from farmer to fighting soldier was Christian de Wet, and he, with just 1,000 mounted men, now appeared on the scene and unhesitatingly attacked the British army, and de Wet captured 170 heavy wagons meant to supply the hard-pressed British soldiers. Often hungry, they sweated on. Meanwhile, the Boers, still here at Magersfontein and led by old General Cronje, failed to believe that the British army had launched itself, and so speedily, across the wild country, the Bundu, as they call it here. When the penny did drop, they trundled eastward as best they could, heading for their capital city, Bloemfontein. Now it was a race. The Boers got ahead. There were about 5,000 of them, but many had their wives and even children with them. Reaching this place called Paardeberg, still by the side of this Modder River, they were forced to take a rest. Meanwhile, the British, driven even brutally by Kitchener, a kinder Lord Roberts had taken ill, pounded on and caught up with the sprawling Boer encampment over there. Kitchener boasted, "We'll be in the Boer laager by 10:30. Our Colonel Lang was present.
Directly we got there, without any reconnaissance, as far as we didn't, certainly had no reconnaissance, Kitchener gave our ex-commanding officer, Colonel Hannay, who was then commanding the mounted infantry, in order to charge the laager on mounted infantry, which he did, and he and another officer of my regiment called Lieutenant Courtney, they were both killed. We went bluntly at it, we went straight at it, like we did at Modder River.
Boers were surrounded by British guns which pounded them. General Cronje sat in the middle of it, holding his wife's hand while they comforted each other. After 10 days of non-stop battering, the Boers surrendered.
My company was sent down into the laager as a sort of guard of honor, or guard at any rate, and the stench down there. Dead mules, dead oxen, dead people, everything scattered all over the place. The stench was fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Lord Roberts entered the now obscene laager to meet General Cronje, and he said to the Boer, "I am glad to meet you. You have made a gallant defense, sir. Cronier stared at Roberts and made no reply. Something over 4,000 Boers were taken prisoner, including General Cronier and his wife, and they were dispatched to the island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic Ocean. It was a massive blow against the two Boer republics. After the Boer disaster at Paardeberg, President Kruger hurried to President Steyn in the Orange Free State. The capital, Bloemfontein, was the next target of Lord Roberts and his British army, and now nothing could stop 30,000 British soldiers and their 116 heavy guns from battling into the capital.
We marched in with pipes playing. The regiment marched into Bloemfontein, and on the 16th of March, the next day, Lord Roberts declared the colony called Orange River Colony, and the word Orange Free State was abolished.
The Boers removed themselves 100 miles northward to the town of Kroonstad.
President Steyn, General Botha, there was General de Wet, General de Rey, and Paul Kruger trying to stop the burghers, the commanders, from falling back. Well, they did not succeed. Not even Paul Kruger.
Yes, with the loss of Bloemfontein, the Boers were demoralized to the extent of issuing feelers for an honorable peace. The British replied to President Steyn and Kruger, Her Majesty's government can only answer your Honour's telegram by saying that they are not prepared to assent to the independence either of the South African Republic or the Orange Free State. Well, there was little decent or honourable about that reply. And of course the Johannesburg gold was considerably closer. And also it left the proud and brave Boers with no options.
To take up a defense position with against an army of 60,000 men was regarded as useless. So really, to my mind, I think that from that time, the guerrilla war was started at that date.
So the great guerrilla war began. There were spectacular Boer victories and British victories, but overall, Lord Roberts's war machine drove northwards towards Johannesburg and, above everything else, towards the gold mines. Kimberley and Cecil Rhodes and his diamonds were duly relieved, and on May the 16th, 1900, the British reached besieged Mafeking. England went embarrassingly wild with relieved delight. By June the 5th, 1900, the British Army entered Pretoria, the capital city of the South African Republic, the Transvaal. President Kruger and his government fled eastward on this presidential train towards the only exit, the Portuguese colony of Lorenzo Marques, where the young Queen of Holland, Wilhelmina, had heroically provided him with a warship to enable him to escape to Europe. It was the lowest ebb for the Boers so far. Lord Roberts and many other Britishers believed that the war was virtually over with the capture of Pretoria. They felt that it was now a simple matter of rounding up the surviving Boers. That belief proved to be a gigantic mistake.